On 27 November 2011, the Ohangwana police swooped in on the clinic of wealthy traditional healer Bonifatius Mbwale after a string of sexual assault claims were leveled against him by mostly teenagers who came to him for treatment. Once at his popular clinic at Onuno in the Ohangwana region, the police found hundreds of unsuspecting patients waiting to see the traditional healer. The police also found a large fleet of expensive vehicles belonging to Mbwale, amongst them 2 hammers, and wads of cash on his premises. The Angolan-born traditional healer was also operating similar treatment clinics at the Omutaku and Iputu villages in the Omusati region and had grown in popularity amongst residents of northern Namibia who believed in his supernatural powers. Mbwale, who was 62 years old at the time, was accused of bedding some of his female patients who went to him seeking exorcism, cures for familial curses, bad luck, and even fertility treatment. The traditional healer was also accused of intentionally infecting a number of his female patients with HIV as he did not use protection during the procedure, in which he would reportedly apply herbs on his and their private parts before penetrating them to allegedly push the medicine deeper. Mbwale was arrested after a 21-year-old patient, whom he had been treating for 19 months, went to lay a complaint with the police. Once at the police station, the victim also provided the names of other young patients who allegedly suffered a similar fate. These names were followed up by the police and statements were taken of those willing to press charges against Mbwale. The complainants, who were mostly ages between 16 and 19, were further advised to have tests done to determine their HIV status. In some instances, the complainants only laid charges after having tested positive, blaming Mbwale for having infected them as some of them came to him as virgins. When his trial kicked off at the Oshakati High Court before Judge Christy Liebenberg in January 2013, Mbwale was facing 13 rape charges. Mbwale pleaded not guilty to all the charges the state claimed happened between 1st June 2009 and 27 November 2011. His argument was that he had consensual sex with all the complainants. On the charges that he inserted his fingers into the private parts of the victims, Mbwale argued that the act is consistent with traditional healing practices and that he never intended to commit sexual acts with his patients while performing such practices. He did, however, admit to having sexual relationships with some of the complainants, but disputed that sexual intercourse took place under the pretext of it being part of their treatment. The state, represented by State Advocate Dominique Lisulo, led the evidence of 32 witnesses, while Mbwale's defense, led by Peter Hreilan, called a further 6 witnesses, including Mbwale. During the trial, it also emerged that Mbwale treated between 50 and 150 persons per day, and thus he was unable to recall some of the names mentioned in the charges. It was only upon seeing the complainants physically in court when testifying that he was able to identify them and challenge the allegations made by each. On 26 June 2013, Mbwale was found guilty on 7 of the 13 rape charges against him. However, the claims that Mbwale infected some of the complainants with HIV were dismissed by the court as the prosecution could not provide medical evidence to the court supporting the complainants' assertions. The state at the time requested Judge Liebenberg to sentence Mbwale to a minimum 15 years imprisonment on every count of rape he has been convicted of. The state also asked for the sentences to run consecutively, which would bring the total sentence to at least 105 years. Mbwale's lawyer, on the other hand, asked for a minimum 5 years imprisonment on each charge to run concurrently with one another because of the short period in which some of the crimes were committed. During mitigation, the traditional healer's lawyer further pleaded that the court take into account that Mbwale is ill and has lost property worth 170,000 Namibian dollars during his incarceration. Mbwale at the time also told the court that besides being HIV/AIDS positive, he also suffers from tuberculosis and gout. He further argued that he has 30 children with 7 different women and around 12 grandchildren, all of whom he allegedly supported financially. On 12 July 2012, Judge Christy Liebenberg sentenced Mbwale to 40 years in jail, but with numerous counts set to run concurrently, Mbwale was given an effective term of 25 years imprisonment. An attempt by the defense to appeal against the conviction on all 7 counts was later dismissed. On 13 February 2014, Judge Christy Liebenberg also dismissed the state's application for leave to appeal against the 25-year sentence imposed on Mbwale. The court found that both the state and the defense had failed to show that they had reasonable prospect to succeed on appeal and dismissed the applications. Mbwale is reportedly still serving his prison sentence, but will be eligible for parole soon. Once again, thank you for watching. If you like my content and what I do over here, please don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button so that you don't miss my next upload. If you give this video a like, I will appreciate that, as it is the quickest way to grow my channel. You can also follow my content on Instagram and TikTok by following Name True Crime.